Did you think you knew everything about the Ten Commandments? Get ready to uncover the most shocking secrets behind one of the most influential biblical films in movie history. Number 1. The director who filmed his own death. Imagine a director so obsessed with his work that he kept going, even knowing it could kill him. Cecil B. DeMille continued directing scenes from a 30-meter-high platform, despite doctors warning him that another day on set could be his last. His chilling response: "I'd rather die creating my masterpiece than live without finishing it." At 74 years old, he returned the next day with a damaged heart, directing with an intensity that terrified his crew. In those final weeks of filming, DeMille was literally working with death breathing down his neck. Every take could have been his last command as a director. Without that near-suicidal dedication, the epic film we know today might never have been completed. DeMille passed away just a few years later, but not before securing his place in cinema history. Number 2. The lost scene that could have changed film history. There once existed an 18-minute sequence that no audience ever saw, one that might have changed the horror genre forever. DeMille shot the plagues of Egypt with such disturbing realism that film authorities banned the entire sequence. It reportedly featured graphic effects showing real decomposition, streams of blood flowing through the streets, and animal corpses that made viewers sick during test screening. Censors declared it too disturbing for the human mind and ordered its destruction. But DeMille refused. He secretly hid the reels in a private vault. For decades, those images were thought to be lost, until fragments were uncovered in 2005 among his personal archive. What little survived proves it could have been the most terrifying scene ever filmed. Number 3. The Red Sea miracle that almost killed the entire crew. The legendary parting of the Red Sea nearly turned into a real-life disaster. To achieve the effect, the crew built massive tanks holding 400,000 gallons of water, powered by experimental hydraulic systems no one had ever tested before. During one major take, the tanks collapsed, unleashing a tidal wave that swept away 30 crew members. The set turned into a nightmare of water and chaos, people screaming for help as they fought against the rushing current. Miraculously, no one died, but 12 crew members were hospitalized with broken bones and near drowning. The real footage from that disaster was so intense that DeMille decided to include parts of it in the final cut. Without that near-fatal accident, the Red Sea sequence wouldn't have had the raw, powerful energy that made it legendary. Number 4. The real curse that terrified Hollywood. While filming the death of Egypt's firstborns, something happened that chilled the entire industry. Over exactly 10 consecutive days, 7 crew members lost immediate family members under mysterious circumstances. A camera assistant's brother died in a car crash. The sound technician's father was found dead from cardiac arrest. 3 extras each lost a child in separate, unexplainable incidents. Local newspapers began reporting that a real biblical curse had struck the production. Several crew members quit out of fear. DeMille had to bring in a priest to bless the set every single day. Years later, Charlton Heston admitted he felt a strange, almost supernatural presence during those terrifying weeks. Number 5. Charlton Heston's secret medical struggle. Throughout the entire shoot, Heston hid a serious medical condition that could have ended his career. He suffered from a severe spinal injury that caused constant pain and uncontrollable muscle spasm. During scenes where Moses carries the tablets of the law, he could barely stand without medical support. Doctors on set injected him with strong painkillers between takes just so he could continue filming. Several times, he collapsed off camera from unbearable pain. His wife begged him to quit, but he refused. "Moses suffered for his people. I must suffer for this film," he declared while being treated with morphine to finish the shoot. Number 6. The pharaonic construction that outdid the real pyramid. To recreate ancient Egypt, DeMille built what became the largest movie set in film history. The massive city used 35,000 tons of plaster, 300 giant statues, and required 2,500 workers laboring for 18 months. Incredibly, this movie city was larger and more detailed than many real Egyptian monuments. It had working water systems, underground chambers, and gold decorations worth millions of dollars. When filming ended, the structure was so valuable that Paramount considered turning it into a permanent theme park. Instead, it was abandoned in the desert, where explorers still visit the ruins today. Ironically, that fake city has lasted longer than many authentic ancient monuments. Number 7. The technological revolution that changed cinema forever. The special effects created for the Ten Commandments were so groundbreaking that they set new industry standards used for the next 30 years. The burning bush, the plagues, and the miracles all required technology that simply didn't exist at the time. The special effects team had to invent everything from scratch: multi-projection systems, custom cameras, and special chemical formulas to create fire that didn't burn. They spent over $500,000 purely on research and development. These innovations directly inspired the effects later seen in Star Wars. George Lucas even admitted he studied the Ten Commandments frame by frame to learn DeMille's techniques. Without those early experiments, modern visual effects wouldn't exist as we know them today. Number 8. The rejected casting that could have changed history. Before Charlton Heston was chosen to play Moses, a long list of Hollywood legends turned down the role, fearing it was too religious for their careers. Marlon Brando was the first choice, but he demanded that Moses be rewritten as a more secular, rebellious figure. James Stewart declined, saying he didn't feel biblical enough. Rock Hudson thought the part was too serious for his public image. The most surprising was Cary Grant, who privately admitted he was afraid to play a divine figure out of personal superstition. If any of these stars had accepted, the movie and its Moses would have been completely different. But fate chose Heston, who delivered a performance that became one of a kind. Number 9. The real biblical storm that saved a scene. While filming the scene where Moses receives the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, a real thunderstorm struck the set with terrifying force. Lightning crashed so close that the crew feared for their lives. Instead of stopping production, DeMille saw it as a divine opportunity. He ordered the cameras to keep rolling as real lightning illuminated the sky behind Heston. The resulting footage was so powerful that audiences believed they had witnessed an actual miracle on screen. Those natural flashes created an atmosphere no special effect could ever replicate, turning the moment into one of the most mystical scenes in film history. Number 10. The suicidal budget that nearly destroyed a studio. With a staggering budget of $13 million, the Ten Commandments was so expensive, it nearly bankrupted Paramount Pictures. In today's terms, the film's budget would equal more than $200 million. Studio executives panicked as the costs spiraled out of control. DeMille was spending money like holy water, demanding absolute perfection no matter the price. Emergency meetings were held to discuss canceling production and cutting losses. Some investors even threatened to sue the studio for financial recklessness. Only the film's massive box office success saved Paramount from bankruptcy. The Ten Commandments went on to become the highest-grossing movie of the decade, but for months, the studio teetered on the edge of collapse. Number 11. The accidental death left in the final cut. During the chaotic golden calf sequence, a tragic on-set accident occurred that DeMille chose to keep in the finished film. One extra collapsed from cardiac arrest right in the middle of the frenzied crowd scene, dying in front of the cameras. The footage shows the exact moment he falls, but within the chaos, it appears as part of the performance. DeMille believed it was almost divinely fitting that someone would die during a scene depicting divine punishment. The victim's family later sued the studio, but DeMille refused to remove the footage, claiming it had artistic value. The incident caused massive controversy in the media. Decades later, forensic experts confirmed that the moment of the man's actual death can indeed be spotted in the film. Number 12. The alternate ending that could have destroyed Christianity in Hollywood. There exists an entirely different ending in which Moses dies on Mount Sinai after receiving the commandment. In this lost version, the prophet is struck down by divine glory, and the Israelites are forced to continue their journey without him. It was closer to the tragic, epic tone DeMille had originally envisioned. But test screenings with religious audiences went disastrously. Christian leaders threatened to boycott not only the movie, but every future Paramount production. The pressure became so intense that the studio ordered a complete rewrite and reshoot of the ending. If that original version had been released, the cultural impact of the film and its place in American religious history would have been completely different. Number 13. The screenwriter's prophecy that came true decades later. Jesse Lasky Jr., the film's co-writer, one of the film's screenwriters, Jesse Lasky Jr., reportedly had recurring dreams while working on the script, visions of specific scenes, before he ever wrote them down. These prophetic dreams included full lines of dialogue and even detailed visual composition. The most chilling part? Lasky predicted that the Ten Commandments would inspire a new wave of epic filmmaking that would dominate Hollywood for decades. He also foretold that a young director would one day use those same techniques to create Distant Galaxy. When George Lucas released Star Wars in 1977, using methods directly influenced by the Ten Commandments, Lasky's eerie prophecy came true. He passed away in 1988, but left behind other written predictions about the future of cinema, some of which have yet to be fulfilled.